Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Claire and I talk all about how to use organization and planning to shift your life into authentic alignment with your soul's purpose. So today we're going over part 6 of my 6-part series about overcoming the overwhelm and how to set goals that you're able to reach to bring your dreams into your reality. So if you missed the rest of this series, I would highly recommend that you go back. I will link the playlist for this series in the down bar. And today we're talking all about celebrating your wins. So in the previous weeks, we went through, how to determine your why and your driving force. We went over making sure you have a clear destination, how to break down your dreams and goals into actionable items, how to then slot those into your planning and your organization to bring them into your real life, how to track your progress, and then today is all about celebrating your wins and how do you actually reward your progress and reward all of your efforts as you're bringing different goals to life, accomplishing things, and just making progress and working towards your dreams. So I did mention in the last video where we talked all about how to track your progress, which will definitely be part of the reward system that you're building for yourself. But essentially within the tracking portion, you want to determine what are your key goals that you're going to celebrate the wins for? What would be the notable accomplishments throughout your journey, the milestone goals? And then with the rewards, I would tie them to your bigger accomplishments throughout your journey. I will provide the freebie for the progress sheet. I will attach a freebie of one of the leaf sheets that I do have that you can use as a progress tracker. And then once you've accomplished whatever goal you set out within that tracker, you will be able to identify what your reward will be. So one thing that's really important when you're talking about rewarding or celebrating your wins is that you are not restricting yourself throughout the journey and saying, until you accomplish this, you're going to have nothing good or celebratory in your life. You're not going to reward any other aspects. You're not going to just treat yourself because of self-care and self-love. We definitely don't want to go down that path where you would only be bringing joyous activities or things into your life that you desire simply for a reward basis. You want to be able to still have that balance where you are having a joy-filled life, you are able to treat yourself, even if it's not part of a reward system. So we definitely don't want you to restrict that element when you're talking about rewards and celebrating wins. So I just want to make that really clear to start off with. And then the other thing that I would love to suggest is you want to make sure that the rewards that you pick are not counterproductive to the goals that you have set. So, for example, if your goal is to focus on how you're nourishing your body and the foods, paying attention to the foods that you're putting in your body, making sure you're hydrating yourself, and making sure that you're focusing on health, your reward for accomplishing a milestone in that journey would not be to, go and binge and have a crazy night. I wouldn't recommend that you do anything that will feel like it takes you off track on your goal moving forward. So it's not you're restricting yourself and trying to make these positive changes in one direction, and then because you accomplish that, you revert back to an old habit you're trying to shift away from. So that is something to be mindful of. It is a nice idea to have a reward or a celebration that is aligned with your goal that you're trying to accomplish. So, for example, if I was focusing on nourishing my body and paying attention to how I'm fueling it, paying attention to maybe cleaning up my diet, feeding my body food that it will be able to thrive on, my reward for hitting a goal would probably be something along the lines of maybe something to be able to use to exercise, maybe an item of clothing that is in an alignment. Maybe it is an appliance for the kitchen that will help me along my journey, but it's something that wouldn't typically be in the budget or that I may not allow myself to have typically or go out and splurge on. Or maybe it is just going and doing a day trip somewhere and going for a nice hike or going out in nature. Maybe it's an event or an actual outing that you would do that again is outside of your norm and it's a little bit of a treat, but it is aligned with where you're ultimately aiming to go. So I hope that makes sense. And then on the flip side of that, just a note on the splurging and the going off course and rewarding yourself with things that you've restricted. I would also be mindful that when you very strictly restrict different things in your life, it can cause you to crave them more and have less control when you do finally allow yourself to have them. So rather than trying to save up and do a big binge, you're probably better off allowing yourself to have things that you're craving, but monitor the portions or something like that a little bit more. So rather than going out and having a huge meal or a huge treat, you can maybe have, you go and share with somebody, or you're just mindful of what you're consuming. If it is something where you do feel like you're going a little bit crazy and you're allowing yourself to have something kind of as a little bit of a cheat day or a treat or whatever you want to call it. Make sure that if you are doing that, that you're allowing yourself to really appreciate it for what it is. Allow yourself to enjoy every mouthful, allow yourself to have that enjoyment without the guilt or feeling like you've fallen off track. Make sure that you're writing it into your story of part of your journey. I am a strong believer in allowing yourself to have what you're wanting and enjoying that, because you don't want the mental attachment to be like, oh, I'm putting this junk in my body. You want it to be focused on the positives that you're putting into your body. So it's delicious. If there are some healthy benefits, what are they? That you are fulfilling some sort of nostalgia and it's a joyous experience. So if you are doing something like that where you're kind of splurging and going like off course, so to speak, a little bit, make sure you write that into your journey. Make sure that you give yourself grace and that entire experience is not just like splurging for the sake of it or because you've lost control, but just, it's part of your journey and it's something that is bringing you happiness. So just shifting your mindset on it a little bit. So not thinking you're bad or you're cheated, but you are treating yourself. So if you're doing something where you are focusing on, again, your diet and how you're fueling your body, I would even shift, don't call it a cheat day, call it a treat day if you have one day a week where you allow yourself to do that. Or if you have maybe each day or every few days, you allow yourself to have a little treat. Call it a treat, call it something positive rather than having that negative stigma just in the mentality that you have tied to it. So that's what I would recommend for that if you are trying to shift some aspect of your life. And again, that's not just related to if you are trying to focus on your health, that can be related to really any element. So as you're shifting your habits, try not to restrict yourself. And if you do something that is a little bit off course, focus on the positive and the joy that it's bringing to your life rather than feeling guilt and resentment to yourself and feeling like you've done something wrong. So again, going back to the rewards and the celebration, you do want to make sure that what you are providing yourself as your reward or your celebration, that it is something that brings you joy, that it's something that's a little bit special and something that you are putting intention behind. So it's not just like getting absorbed into the rest of your day or the rest of your life. Really take the time to appreciate and celebrate yourself. Think about how far you've come. Think about what you have accomplished that's leading to that reward and the amount of energy and effort that you put into getting to that point. And just, I would take that as a point where you want to do a little bit of reflection and really appreciate yourself and what you have done. And then I do also want to add in the fact that a reward or celebration, it doesn't have to be something that costs much money or any money at all. As I mentioned before, it can be an outing. Maybe it's a self-care day where you do a face mask or you do a hair mask and you just take the time to pamper yourself. You have a nice bath, a nice shower. You have a quiet day where you allow yourself to just lounge on the couch and read or paint or do art or do something that you love that brings you joy, and you really just say, I'm going to take this amount of time or this day or this weekend or whatever you have set out for yourself that you feel is appropriate for your life. You take that time for yourself, you honor yourself, and again, would highly recommend you take the time to reflect as well. But it could even be something where maybe you take yourself to a movie, you take yourself to an art gallery, a museum you've wanted to go to for a long time. You take yourself out to the park or the landmark location that you've been meaning to go to, but you just haven't really made the time. Or maybe it's just something where you go and wander around town, wander around the shops. Anything that you feel is a treat for you personally can be something that you create as your reward. It doesn't have to be a physical item. It can be an event, it can be an activity, it can be anything that you feel would motivate yourself and make that accomplishment exciting to you. And so that's it. It really is as simple as tuning into yourself, identifying what will motivate you, and what will align with what you're trying to accomplish, or at least add a positive element to your celebration and actually feel like a treat and a reward to you. And again, that is fully personal. It depends on what your life looks like, what motivates you personally, and what feels in alignment with your true self and your own personal journey. So please do share in the comments if you have any ideas of maybe what your milestone goals are, what you feel you're going to add or designate as your reward for that. And if you do download the progress tracker that I'm providing as a freebie for this week, please do share on Instagram, tag me so that I can see it, what you decide to use it for, what you designate as your goal for it, what you put as your reward, all of that you can put on the same sheet. And I would just love to see how you use it, what you've set out for yourself, and you can also add it in the comments below. As always, if you did enjoy this video and made it this far, please do give it a like. If you're not already, please subscribe and click the little notification bell so you're notified anytime I do upload a video. And I am wishing you a beautiful week ahead.